Welcome to Oh Hell No with Nicole.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Oh Hell No podcast. Today I have my friend Beverly, and this is the first time that I'm doing a live, well not live, but I'm doing an in-person podcast. So she's here with me. So welcome Beverly.
Thank you, Nicole, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes, I'm very excited. So today we're going to talk to Beverly. She sells Bedroom Kandi, and we're going to talk about her side hustle and some other things about what she has going on and figure out what her passion is. Okay, so you ready, Beverly?
I'm ready.
All right. So I want to ask you, when you were growing up, do you remember what you thought you would be as an adult?
I had no clue.
Really?
As I grew up in the Caribbean, so we were seen and not be heard.
Mm-hmm.
So, and our future wasn't even discussed. All we know is that you're going to finish school. I mean, there was even no plans for college or anything, because back then it was just a thought that you go to school, get your education, and find a job, not a career or anything.
Yes, that is so true. I grew up with Caribbean parents too, but my mom was very passionate about get your education. That's the only thing that's going to be able to help you. That was like every day, education, get your education. But there was never any discussion of career or whatever. Well, actually, I'm lying because she told me that I should become an attorney from I was young. And I never listened to her. And sometimes I wish I would have become an attorney. But then I feel like if I was supposed to be an attorney, I would be an attorney.
Absolutely.
I don't know. What do you think?
But sometimes our parents, the ones who do have that knowledge, like my mom, she had to drop out of school to take care of other people's children because her mother died very young. So she didn't have that knowledge to even tell us. All she knows, like, I didn't finish school, so I want you guys to finish school and get a job, because that's what she never finished school, but she got a job she hated, but it was just a job.
Right. It was a way to make money and take care of yourself.
So then I remember when I graduated from high school, I wanted to be a model. No, go get a job. I wanted to go to the Air Force. No, go get a job. Right. So everything I wanted to do for us was just go get a job.
Yeah.
And next thing, you have children, and all of that, you have to take care of them first, and you never really find yourself. And for me, it's till afterwards when my kids was growing up, I was like, okay, now it's about me, so I can do whatever I want to do.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. That's the thing too. With me, I went to college. I did not become an attorney, even though I was on the path. Like I was going to be a paralegal first and then go to law school or whatever. And then while I was doing that, I realized I don't want to do this. My personality is too big. Like, this is so boring. It's not for me. Right. Mm-hmm. And then I just bounced from job to job. I still don't feel like, even though I have degrees and stuff like that, I still don't feel like I've had a career.
Right.
So I feel like I've just been, going from job to job, taking on different things, getting certifications, getting degrees, but just not feeling fulfilled. And that's why I started this podcast, to kind of talk to people about their passions, what they're doing, how they figured out what they're supposed to be doing in life, and, just how they apply themselves and get to that place that you feel good about every day, getting up and going to that place and doing whatever it is that you do, So, what do you do currently today, full time? Can you share that with us? If not, you don't.
I work at a school.
Okay. Do you feel fulfilled by that, or is it just?
I actually do, but in one way, sometimes you can divide yourself and still be happy about what you do.
Yes.
I mean, for me, it's all about the children. You have to teach them, especially this young generation. And I'm seeing a whole new side compared to how I was brought up and how I raised my kids. So for anybody who's a baby boomer, this generation is a shocker.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And it's just simply amazing. And the kids are taught, like, it's almost like they're in control. Parents has no more control. Adult has no control. It's like you give birth so somebody else could tell you what to do with your kids. you have no rights as a parent or an adult. So it's quite shocking to me being the age that I am.
Yes, no, I know. Even to me too. Like when I see kids on the train and they're like cursing and just talking to people reckless and adults are around. When we were kids, we never did that. We would never ever say a curse word if an adult was around. Like
Exactly.
No.
Like where I'm at, I get kicked, I get cursed. I mean, I hear words that I didn't even know exist from 5, 6, 7 year old all the way up. It's crazy. I had a kid fracture my thumb.
Oh my goodness.
They kick you, they disrespect you. And the thing about it is they know all the things that you cannot do and say to them. It's almost like they're programmed.
Yeah. I don't know where that comes from though. I wonder how they know that.
Because the system has taught them. I remember when I first took my kids to daycare, they gave me a piece of paper that says, if your kid come in with a scratch or whatever, we're going to call DIFUS. Little me didn't even know what DIFUS was.
Right.
And until I didn't sign the paper because I'm like, okay, I didn't understand what it meant. When I found out they're going to call social service, they're going to come investigate you. It's like, okay, well, that's what you're going to have to do because I am going to discipline my kid. My response was, I am a Caribbean born, and that's how we were raised, and that's how I'm going to raise my kids.
That's right. What island are you from?
Grenada.
Oh, Grenada. Listen, I've been trying to get to the Grenada Carnival. Have you ever been to Carnival in Grenada?
Yes. No, I'm trying to go to Trinidad.
We went to Trinidad, maybe, was it last year or the year before? Yeah. And me and my
Trinidad is the
husband,
best.
I know it was really fun, but we want to go to Grenada because we love that music.
Yeah, because I think Trinidad started first and then Grenada, because if you see a Trinidadian, they're from Grenada. Grenada is from Trinidad, so they're side by side. And so Trinidadian started first, and then Grenada imitated because they're close by, and those are that two. And then everybody else follows suit.
Yeah, I love that. When I go, I have to tell you how it was. Now back to our serious conversation. So these kids are out of control, and like you were saying, it seems like the system teaches them how to,
The system.
Yeah.
It's designed that way.
It's crazy though, because then these kids are unruly, they do things, and then what?
No consequences.
Right.
Because you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't.
Yeah.
Okay? I had kids in school. There's 2 teachers had concussion from kids hitting them. They pull out the chair from under the teacher. It's totally out of control.
Oh my gosh. And what happens to these children when they do stuff
No
like that?
consequences. Nobody even says to them, you know what? That wasn't right.
Wow, that's unfortunate. That's crazy. I always say that teachers or anybody that works in a school should really be paid way more than what they're paid, because for one, they are educating our children, right? And our children are the future, right? And 2, that job is just, it's so hard. Like, I could not imagine being with kids all day.
It's rough.
Really could. Yeah, I really couldn't. So I always am very, appreciative of my daughter's teachers. I always go in, speak to them. I make sure my daughter knows you respect your teacher.
Absolutely.
Yes, because
that's
it's
key.
important.
That's key.
Yeah, and I think it starts at home too, because how you teach your children and how you raise them, that's how they go out into the world. Do you ever come in contact with the parents of these children who behave like this?
Well, you know what? Some of the parents are actually in denial. If you tell them the kids do that, they don't believe it, because they would say, oh, my kid don't do that. But also, there are the kids that don't behave like that at home. But when they come out, they act their worst. So I understand both sides of the spectrum.
Yes, I get that.
And it's real, because I look like, okay, when I see some kids, when they're back to school, it's like, why don't you show your mother how you act? They're like little house mouse, shaking their head. So I totally understand it. And then you have the dysfunctional home, where not just where I am, because I talk to other people in different schools, and it's the parents. Some of the kids are raising themselves. Some of the parents, drugs, or whatever it may be, the disrespect between the parents at home, so that trickled down to the kids. So then they have no respect for adults.
Got it. Yeah, my son, who is older, when he was younger, he was a problem student, and he was out of control. He didn't behave like that at home, But when he got to school, he was like a different person.
Absolutely.
And he was in trouble every single other day, you know? And I mean, I don't know. It went on for many, many years. So I understand that. But at the same time, I would never tell him that it was okay to be disrespectful to a teacher or anybody.
Absolutely.
You know, and he wasn't doing stuff like that where he was hitting teachers or going that crazy. He was always getting into trouble with other students.
The class clown.
Running
The
his
person,
mouth, the class clown, and then possibly talking back to the teacher and getting out of pocket, but never physical with a
Right,
teacher,
right.
you know. But still, even the out of pocket, because he didn't do that at home.
Exactly. So you understand
So,
the parent
yeah.
being in, we say they're in denial, but if you don't see it at home, it's very hard for me to come to you and say your kid did this and that. You know,
Right.
you're like, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, I was never like that because I knew I heard it too many times for it to be false.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
so it's very difficult. So being a parent, being a teacher, even being a kid, it's difficult.
Hard. It's hard.
It's
because-
hard.
And for the kid too, what I notice, every kid wants to be accepted and be friends. So I think it's easy for them to follow the bad company so they can fit in, opposed to
Yeah.
the kid who's sitting in the corner and does the work.
Yes. And I always used to say that. Why do you always gravitate to the worst kids in the class? Be with the nerds.
Because they get attention.
Right. And now my daughter, she's the total opposite, but she's her own person. So she just kind of like forges her own way, and she's very compliant and just, it's like, you know, at the other end of the spectrum. Thank you, Lord, for having mercy on me.
Yeah, you could have two of the same.
Right. I would be in a mental institution if I had
But
another one like
sometimes
that.
we kind of learn from the first one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you do. You do. Absolutely.
And sometimes there's no manual in how to raise kids, especially if you had nobody around to help you. And then sometimes not all help is good help.
Right.
And then sometimes I notice that people are happy to see your kid undisciplined, especially if theirs are undisciplined. They want you to be in that same boat with them.
That's true. You know, sometimes, what do they say? Misery loves company.
Exactly.
Yeah, so absolutely. All right, so how did you find out about Bedroom Kandi?
Actually, you know, like I mentioned before, when I was younger, out of high school, I wanted to be a model. And it was no. My mother wouldn't pay for any pictures. I had no money to pay for any pictures. So it's funny how sometimes when you have things in your heart, you may not be able to do it then, but at certain point in your life, it comes back. I mean, I was a little older to be a model, even though now I see older models.
Yeah.
But then now I started designing ladies' underwears.
Yes, Miss Beverly
And-
has panties, honey.
and lingerie and swimwear. And, you know, people was like, okay, why you chose that? But I think for me, growing up, I mean, I was kind of like an outcast. I was the middle child. In high school, well, all through school, I was the tallest, the skinniest. They called me everything except my name. you know?
Right.
And so it wasn't until after I had my kids, I gained some weight, and you start, you know, looking like, okay, you have a little
Right.
chest now. I didn't get the butt, but you have the chest and you look good. So my thing was, once you find yourself and you have the confidence in yourself, it takes you to a different level.
Yeah.
So that made me confident enough to like, okay, I want to be sexy. I want to make other women sexy. So that was the underwears all about. Besides the fact that my underwears is alternative to thongs, so they are more sanitary than thongs. So that health aspect and the sexiness is a combination.
Yes, I've seen those panties. They're very sexy. I haven't gotten one. I'm going to have to get one to try it. Yeah.
I'm going to bring you one.
Yeah, because I definitely want to try it. I've had some passion parties, and that's how I met Beverly. So I had a couple of Bedroom Kandi parties, and she's my host. So I do them every couple of years, and we've always stayed in touch, and that's how I met her.
Which is awesome. It was nice.
Yes, we have a good time.
So with the Bedroom Kandi, one of my girlfriend calls me because I still never got into, because growing up, we never talk about sex. We never talk about anything. So I think my girlfriend and I always joke about it. We must have been the dumbest kid. At 14, I was still playing with dolls, sucking my thumb.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we were just so naive. We were the only two girls around a whole bunch of boys, male. And it's funny because now when I'm hearing all this sexual thing, it's funny. They never approached us, never touched us. They were talking about things, and now that we grow up and we know what they're talking, we were really stupid kids because we were clueless.
Right. Yeah, because Caribbean parents, that's another thing. All they do is tell you, you better not get pregnant. Don't do this. Don't let no boy touch you. Don't,
That's
it's like
it.
that.
That's all.
Right.
We didn't know at 14, we didn't even know where babies come from.
Right.
And it was serious.
Yeah.
And, because now we're like, oh my God, this is what they were talking about. We were clueless, which was a good thing. When I watched these kids at 12, 13 are pregnant, it was definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
They could have taught us something, of course. But.
Yeah, because now I did a podcast with this lady who wrote this book about, finding your inner goddess. And she talked about educating your kids about sex and giving them the power because they understand everything about sex, that it's not this bad thing. It's a good thing, but you have to be mature and ready for the responsibilities that come along with sex.
Right. Not only that, we have to teach, like I know with my grandkids, they were 2 and 3 years old. And their mother taught them so much. They didn't call it nothing but this is your vagina.
That's another thing that I was taught.
Right. So now, and don't let anybody touch you. They learned all of that very early. So it's funny, when I went to give them a bath, they would say to me, Grandma, don't touch my private.
Right.
And I would look at them, and I had to think twice, and I never said to them, okay, I said, give them the washcloth. I said, okay, you wash yourself.
Right.
Because I felt that if I told them I'm your grandma, I can wash you. If somebody else said that to them, they would think it's okay. So I just left them, and I was like, okay, you wash yourself.
That's good. That was a good way to handle it instead of just...
Right, because if you said it, then if somebody else come and said to your kid, oh, I'm such and such, I can do this, they'll think it's okay.
Right. Yeah.
So, kids have to be educated very early now that these things was going on long ago, but they wasn't spoken about. Nobody knew it, so it was always in the closet. So now that we know, we have to educate our children.
Absolutely.
We have to teach them.
Yes.
So, with that being said, I have this book now that I'm reading, What Your Mother Didn't Tell You About Sex. And it's just teaching them about their body, the different stages of growth. And I think it's every parents need to teach their kids that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I do.
Right. So, okay. And back to the undies.
Yes.
So when I did that, she's like, oh, Beverly, Kandi doing toys. And I was like, I went down and looked, and I said, yeah, I know somebody else tried to get me to do passion parties, but by me didn't grow up talking about this, you have kids and you still never had those kind of discussion.
Right.
And so I looked at it and I was like, oh, she's like, Beverly, did you do that? I said, no, that's not me. And then one day I said, okay, let me do it and see what it's about. So I applied and I was approved. So I'm one of Kandi's top first consultant from 2012. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And even like my first party, I was just so nervous. Like I went over and over, and when I got my okay, how do I talk about the dildo? How do I talk about this? It was like, that's not me. That's not me. Oh yes, I can do this. So I went through the back and forth thing, and then after the second party, and I'm realizing there's a lot of women that was just like me, didn't talk about that. One woman told me she's been married for 10 years and her husband never saw her naked.
What?
So all of those things, I said, you never took a bath with your husband? She's like, no. I said, well, how did you have kids? She has to take a shower first, jump in the bed, jump under the sheets. So all of these stories just blow my mind. And then made me realize that I need to do Bedroom Kandi from a whole different aspect in terms of educating women and not just about introducing toys to them. So the toys became an enhancement to the bedroom and not an alternative.
Wow, yes. So I was going to ask you if you felt nervous about going to strangers' home to do the presentation, right? Because when you first get, someone, they contact you via email or whatever, and then you just have to show up and be ready to do your presentation. So how do you feel about going to, somebody's house for the first time and you don't know this person or anything about them? How did you feel the first time and how did you conquer that?
Very nervous.
Yeah.
Very nervous. Oh, actually, no. My first party I did at my house with my friends.
Oh, okay.
So
Smart.
But yeah, because I had to practice because
Right.
the other thing is I was not used to getting up in the front of people and talk. I was the kid that if I had to do my reporting for the class, I wouldn't show up. When I was in church and I did Sunday school, or if they asked me to read, I wouldn't show up that Sunday.
Wow. And look at that. Now
So-
you're here doing Bedroom Kandi.
So to come from that, it's been a
Yes.
shift.
Oh my gosh.
But the thing about it is it was all about that confidence in yourself and finding who you are. I always used to hear people say that once you get 40, over 40, 45, you change. And that's definitely true because you no longer care what people say about you or how they think about you. It's how you think about yourself.
Yes, I agree. I am over 40 and fabulous.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. And that is so true. That's probably what gave me the confidence to do this podcast because I'm just doing my thing. And if you like it, rock with me. If you don't, go find another podcast. I mean,
Absolutely,
I don't know.
absolutely. It have to be what you are comfortable with, because one thing I noticed that people always telling you what they think you should do,
Yeah, it's true.
and those people who think you should do that, if you do it, they don't support you. So you have to do what's comfortable for you.
Yes, absolutely. So now going to people's houses and stuff. You did the first one with yourself and now you do it. So are there any safeguards that you do or anything that you do to make yourself feel more comfortable? Because again, you don't know what's going on, behind those doors. I'm not trying to scare you.
No, you're absolutely right. What I do is I Google the area first. So, and I research it. I call friends who live in those certain places. How is this? How is that? I know a couple places that I had to go down north.
Right.
And because I'm from there, I'm familiar with a lot of the areas. So I already kind of know where not to go.
Right. Have you ever had like someone set up and then you were like, this looks sketchy, I ain't going, and canceled?
No, I haven't done that because I would just, it's a place that I know I'm definitely not going to go, I would just tell them I'm booked. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Because I have to okay the date. So I
Yes.
already know where it is.
Yeah. Okay.
And then when I go, a lot of times if I had New York and I don't know the area, I call my family over there. And thank God my son always act like my bodyguard when we go to certain places.
Yeah, that's good to have.
Yeah. No, I'm always, I hear stories and certain places I would have them have their party in the daytime where when I leave, it's bright.
Right. Girl, you're smart. So what do you love the most about selling Bedroom Kandi?
I think I like meeting the different people and the conversation and the educating people.
Okay. Is there anything that you would change about Bedroom Kandi since you've been with them since the beginning?
No, and the reason why is I have to change me and not Bedroom Kandi because at the end of the day, that's Bedroom Kandi's business. The only thing you can change is what you do and how you approach it.
Nice. Okay. Do you have all the Bedroom Kandi products?
No, not all.
Well, from what you do have, what's your favorite?
I like Happiness and Joy. I mean, as a demo.
Okay.
When I do the parties, it all depends on the people's preference. Because once you talk to you do your party, you get a feel for what people like. Because most of the time, it's not about me. And it's not about me doing the parties and what I like. It's about my customers because I don't put myself in that spectrum, but I make sure I know the function of the toys. That way I can present it. And once I understand what my clients like, then I can put them in that direction. Like, I think this would work for you.
Right. But, sometimes when you're the salesperson, it's nice to test out the stuff. And you might have a favorite. You might not, But I'm saying personally for yourself.
I like the lipstick because it's so cute. You can put it in your pocketbook.
Yeah, that is cute.
One of my favorite saying about it is when you're unhappy at work, take out your lipstick.
Yeah.
And you come back to your desk nice and happy.
I do like that one, but I did not get that one, but I do like it. So, do you feel like you know what your purpose is at this stage in your life? Do you know what your passion is and what you want to go after? I know that you said you do feel a sense of, joy in what you do because you are contributing to society in a positive way. You know, I know you go through a lot to do it, but you are. So is there anything else that you are wanting to pursue or feel like that is your ultimate goal?
I think that's my ultimate goal. Like right now, I am working towards being certified as a sex ed coach.
Nice.
And then I'm going to go a little further to get as close to a sexologist as possible.
Nice.
And I just the idea of educating people, and for us as minorities, blacks, whatever you want to call us, we lack that education. We lack communication with our partners, whether it's a husband, a spouse, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is. And so I think if we learn how to communicate with our other half, whatever they are, we'll be able to have long-lasting relationships. So that's my ultimate goal. If I can save relationship, bring that communication and not let these little obstacles get in the way, or getting upset because he didn't have enough money, she didn't have enough money, and realize that it's about relationship, and that goes both ways. And for us to stop saying 50-50, it's 100 on both sides.
Nice. Yes. Well, when you get your certification, you're going to have to come and give my girls a little session. So, have you been to the Bedroom Kandi, you know, those big things that she has? What are they called?
Every September is a convention. I've been twice. I try to go every 2 years.
Oh, okay. So what's that like?
It's really nice because you get to meet the other consultants. You get to see their achievements. And it's really nice to get to meet Kandi.
So you've met Kandi?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think she's fabulous. I mean, I watch her on The Housewives, and I just love the way that she, you know, supports other women, her friends, her business mind. I just love all of that stuff about her. I really do. I think
and she is.
phenomenal.
And what I like about her is she's so down to earth. And sometimes, you know, because you're working for somebody, they feel they're superior. Kandi doesn't have that. She came, she at everybody's level. She spoke to everybody there. She moved from table to table. So there was no different. And whether this person top seller or this one didn't make, you were just all one.
Right.
So that was really nice.
So is selling Bedroom Kandi a lucrative business for the salespeople?
Oh, definitely it is. Yeah.
It-
You get what you put in.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
basically-
It's like any other business. If you don't do anything, you don't make anything. If you're aggressive and you do it, for me, I want to do just more than just sell toys, like I said. So I
Right.
want to be an educator. I want to enhance women's life and male, because the toys can also be used on male.
Right. So do you feel like selling Bedroom Kandi has opened you up to this other passion of helping people with
Oh,
their
yes.
relationships?
Definitely. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Isn't that amazing how that works? Like
Because then now you could have the conversation and just understand where different people come from, the different level, different understanding. It's, yeah, definitely.
wow.
It has definitely put me in a different place in my life.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
And he brought out the best in me.
Good. Well, I'm sure Kandi will be happy to hear that, you know. So, before I let you go, I want to ask you about an oh hell no moment, because that's why this show is called the Oh Hell No podcast. I know I talk about journeys and, you know, passions and stuff, but the thing about those things is that we always have oh hell no moments along the way. Things that just make you stop in your tracks, things that might make you reassess and go in a different direction. But, you know, we get through those moments. So that's why my show is called the Oh Hell No podcast.
Okay.
Because I know people are kind of like, well, why do you call it that? But that's why. So what has been an oh hell no moment for you with selling Bedroom Kandi? Have you, like, besides going to that lady's house and she never let her husband see her naked, has there ever been any moment where you were like, oh hell no, like in your head, or even, you know?
You know, that moment was, and I've learned to, I guess, accept it. People, my first experience with church people.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's funny thing how we are so reserved, and we have to do things to accommodate people. We have to hide our true self. But the first time I did the church group, they were so out of control. I was just so shocked. The behavior, I've never ever. But that just shows that they were comfortable and they were able to be who they are. So, I
Yes.
mean, I kind of implemented Planet Fitness, no judgment.
Right.
Because we all have that in us. And also I've gone places and I've seen women, especially with their husbands or their boyfriends, and they're so prim and proper. And when they're not around, they're able to let loose and be themselves. So same kind of thing when they're in the church. I'm this, I'm that, I'm so proper, holy Jesus, and this and that. But outside of that, they are comfortable to be who they are.
Yes.
So are they being true to themselves? No. Like for me, I tell anybody I'm a Caribbean woman. We're loose. Even though I didn't grow up that much in the Caribbean, I still implement my culture.
Right.
We are out of control.
Yes, that's why I want to go to Grenada. Yes, I love it. Absolutely.
So you just accept people for who they are. And just by me understanding they're both personalities, but I rather just be me all the time now that I've grown to be me.
Yes, that's so true, because a lot of times people, they don't want to talk about sex, or, oh my God, that's what is that, a dildo, and all,
They look down on you.
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
part of life.
Yeah. When my church people, because there's friends of mine that when they first found out I was having a party, they all, oh, Beverly, I'm going to come. I said, of course you guys coming. But they told one other person that's their friend, which is not really the person I would have invited. So then all of a sudden they all wanted to come. It's like, fine. Then they went back. A few of them, two in particular, took my books, my catalogs. And then next I had to find out they said that I'm the devil. This is what I'm doing.
Oh,
okay?
wow.
So being who I am, I had to approach them and let them know that I heard you said I was the devil, but you took my catalog home and you stayed till the end of the party. If you felt that way, you should have left as soon as you saw what I was doing.
Right.
If you felt uncomfortable, you should have left. So that's kind of, I guess maybe they became embarrassed that other people found out that they came.
So of course,
They
make it
try
look
to, they
right.
probably say, oh no, I didn't stay long, but you took the catalog.
Right.
And
And
like,
probably ordered some stuff behind your back.
and right, they probably went to somewhere else.
Right.
But like for me, I would tell them that, this is what you do. And I'm kind of sarcastic at times. So one of my remark was, you better get something before somebody else got your husband.
Right. Exactly.
It's no lie about it. That's what happens.
And they're married, so that's so ridiculous to me. Like, you're married, you're in a committed relationship. You should be the most comfortable with
course.
talking about sex. You don't have to tell people what you do in your bedroom, but
course.
it's okay to, that's another thing that me and my mom always talk about this, is that women don't share enough with each other. And sometimes you're going through things, or your body's going through things, and you keep it to yourself. You don't tell anybody.
Absolutely.
And you don't know what's happening, or if it's okay or if it's not okay, rather than just, saying, hey, is this normal? Has this ever happened to you? You will find that most women have had the same experiences.
Exactly.
You don't have to go around telling all your business. I mean, you can Google, but sometimes
just conversation,
right? Just having
conversation.
conversation.
And even the relationship, I notice women don't have that conversation with their spouse. They don't have that type of communication.
Yeah.
How do you married for somebody for X amount of how could you even marry somebody and can't have a conversation like that with them?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'd say whatever to my husband. He thinks I'm crazy, but
That's how I am. Even with my male friends, we have conversation that is just like off the wall.
right.
know?
Yeah. So
Because I want to know, especially doing the toys and the parties, I want to know how men feel.
yes.
I want to know, have you ever done that? Have you ever tried that? How does it feel? How you attitude towards women, Because I had a guy told me that when he get married, he's 60 years old, never been married, but I mean, that's here or there. But if I got married, my wife would have to have sex with me whenever I wanted. Otherwise, I would take it.
What?
And I had to break it down to them and say, no, you don't. You don't have that right.
Right.
Okay?
Absolutely not.
And plus, I had to say to them, do you understand a woman's body? So I had to tell them all the things that we go through as women, from giving birth to menopause to just having just everyday issues that we have,
Right.
you know? And it's like, oh, I never knew that. I said, no, because all you think about is yourself. So that's why women have to have conversation with their boyfriends, their husbands, whoever. If you don't have the conversation with your boyfriend, he can't be a husband. How would he understand that?
Yes, it's so true. You are dropping gems, girl.
But
You
it's
better
like-
finish that class. You're good.
Damn.
No, seriously,
You have
it's
to
so
learn. You
true.
have to learn.
Yeah, you really do, because it's like I did a podcast with a sex therapist, and she was, I asked her a ton of different questions, and some people might be like, oh, that's so disgusting, or oh, that's ridiculous, but some people might want to know that,
Exactly.
but they're afraid to ask somebody because it sounds ridiculous.
I had a professor that used to say the only stupid question is the one you don't ask.
Exactly. Yep. So people start talking, have those conversations, and get in touch with Beverly. So thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure. I had a good time talking to you. And like I said, make sure you finish that course, because I think
Definitely
you're going to be
will.
great.
Thank you so much.
Yes.